For the first time ever then, Formula 1 heads to Melbourne ready for pre-season testing. A few fresh faces take to the Formula 1 stage for the new season, but everyone is still aiming for the same goal. Welcome back everyone to our brand new F1 2020 career mode, where today we're here back for the start of Season 2. And Mercedes were the first team to unveil their new 2021 challenger after dominating in the end both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships in 2020. Seven-time Formula 1 World Champion now Lewis Hamilton looks to try and break Michael Schumacher's record and make it 8 World Championships in Formula 1. And joining him at Mercedes would be his teammate, obviously from the first season, Valtteri Bottas there. Mercedes, they won everything. They didn't really need to change anything up. Toto Wolff said they were very, very confident with the rule changes, the powertrain changes that we saw from 2020, and the team are looking strong, ready to kick off a new season in Formula 1. Obviously, the aim is pretty simple for Mercedes. They want to win both the Drivers' and Constructors' World Championships for an 8th consecutive time here. Obviously, outright record holders already now with 7 in a row, but if they can make it 8, really, Mercedes, arguably, the best team ever to grace the Formula 1 circus there. But yeah, Mercedes feeling strong, still theoretically the quickest car in Formula 1 at the moment, but they're very, very cautious of Ferrari after just how much of a good run the Tifosi gave them in the 2019 campaign. Speaking, though, of Ferrari, some big changes at Maranello as we head in towards Season 2 of the career mode. Sebastian Vettel, who ended up leading Ferrari's title challenge heading into the finale at Abu Dhabi, he remains with the team, but a new, very, very familiar face from the world of Formula 1 joins him at Ferrari. Yes, Max Verstappen has made the switch to Ferrari for 2021. Quite a crazy move, in all honesty. A lot of the pundits weren't really expecting this after the 2020 season. But yeah, Max Verstappen not happy with Red Bull's progress over the course of 2020. He really wanted the change of scenery, and after Charles Leclerc moved to another team, which we will get onto in just a moment, the door opened up for the Dutchman to dive into what is arguably, still one of the most famous seats and one of the most coveted seats in Formula 1. Sebastian Vettel will be looking now to try and finally make it 5 World Championships, but obviously Max Verstappen on his day still arguably the quickest driver in Formula 1, and I'm sure him and Ferrari are looking to finally beat Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton to the World Championship this year. A lot of money has gone into this campaign, obviously with the new powertrain upgrades. Ferrari seem to have lost a little bit of performance to Mercedes, but are still looking very, very good as we head into 2021 here, and are still looking to try and fight towards the front of the field here as well. So then moving on into team number 3, obviously Red Bull, after losing their star driver from 2020, they've opted to keep Alex Albon, keep some stability within that team, and they've brought back quite a familiar smiley face from the world of Formula 1. Yes, Daniel Ricciardo has gone back to Red Bull after a fairly eventful campaign with the Renault team. Obviously, he was able to take home that one race victory at the Singapore Grand Prix over the 2-year span with the French-based squad, but just felt that they weren't quite looking to make the progress and didn't have the same ideas as he did ready for 2021. Honda as well have made big upgrades heading into the new season and look very, very strong to challenge towards the front. And obviously Alex Albon is still desperately after his first Formula 1 podium as well. Speaking of Renault, though, obviously with Daniel Ricciardo, their star driver, leaving the team, Renault were sort of left struggling to try and find a replacement for him to join Esteban Ocon at the team for 2021. That was until one Kimi Räikkönen stepped to the plate there. He's decided he wants to have a little bit of a fight towards the front of the field again, and obviously after Renault's really strong second half of 2020, mostly spearheaded by Daniel Ricciardo here, Räikkönen is hoping that the team now can finally make the transition and really be able to fight with the top 3 there. They look strong, a very big budget heading into the new year, but after the rule changes caused a little bit of confusion for the French-based squad, it seems that both Renault and their teams, obviously they supply engines to, would be a little bit on the back foot ready for the next season there. But obviously a win at the Singapore Grand Prix and another couple of podiums here and there for Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon left them as the best midfield team finally at the end of 2020. So they'll be looking to try and continue that momentum and continue a push towards finally being a race, you know, a consistent outfit that can challenge for race victories and hopefully battle for world championships as well. Moving on then to one of 2020's biggest surprises in the Formula 1 world. That was, of course, 212 Motorsports, who had a fantastic debut season in the sport. Able to finish 5th overall in the Constructors' Championship after a brilliant stint by their owner-driver, Matt Beard. The new 21 car was again looking strong with a bit of a reskin. This time around, obviously keeping the black, silver and orange famous paint from the 2020 car. This one dubbed the Tiger with the orange and black front wing, obviously with the stripes there, as you can quite clearly see, was hopefully going to be a challenger once again towards the front of the field. And after a very public dispute between the team and their second driver, Jordan King, who never seemed to be quite able to get anywhere near as much out of the car as Matt Beard there, the team opted actually to sign another English driver, one that obviously I'm sure a lot of you will be very happy to see. George Russell has joined 212 Motorsports, ready for 2021. The Englishman, obviously very excited now. Finally, hopefully we'll get the chance to score some good points in Formula 1. Matt Beard was quoted in saying that he was very excited for George Russell, obviously a Formula 2 champion, to be stepping into the team here, and he was hoping that he could help him escape the struggles that have seen him spend most of his first 2 years in the sport sat towards the rear of the field here. Another team to watch. They'll be looking to try and challenge and, you know, finish best of the rest this time around and see if they can try and fight for more podiums and race victories there. That takes us on, though, to Racing Point, another team that have actually kept their 2020 lineup of Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll there. The team happy with how both drivers performed at the end of 2020, and obviously Lawrence Stroll, owner of Racing Point, I'm sure will be looking for, hopefully, his son to try and score some more podiums in 2021 there. The team admitted they struggled to find the right balance with the car over the course of 2020, and only finishing 6th in the Constructors' Championship was not quite what they wanted, but they could understand just how tight the midfield was. They were really happy to still able to fight there as well. This season, they're looking to try and continue that momentum. If they can get P4 or P5 in the Constructors' Championships, they are sure, obviously, they'll be very happy with that. But, you know, at the moment, they're still looking at the long-term plan for Racing Point, you know, that future that they talk about, obviously, with some major upgrades potentially in the pipeline as well. But yeah, Lawrence Stroll seemed quietly optimistic about his team, as well as both drivers were feeling, again, quietly optimistic, ready for 2021. After Mercedes engine upgrades look to pay off over the winter with the new rule changes, they will hopefully be able to get a few more podiums and maybe now finally get that elusive race victory that has haunted them since 2008. Moving on, though, into P7 from last year's championship, McLaren, another team that has opted to keep their driver lineup of Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris here. They were looking to build up, you know, a bit of a lackluster 2020. They admitted, you know, P7 was not quite what they wanted. They did finish last of that little tight-knit battle between the 3 Renault-powered cars as well as Racing Point there. And they were hoping, you know, in 2021, they can finally sort of prove themselves as, you know, a team that can fight for race victories once more. Obviously, they did take that one win in 2020, obviously that famous race victory for Lando Norris there. But a bit of discomfort from Carlos Sainz after being trounced by his teammate at the end of the season there. They're still looking to try and keep some harmony within that team as well, and hopefully this time round remain as the best orange car in Formula 1 as well. Engine upgrades, though, like we said, from Renault, seem to be a little bit lackluster, don't quite seem to have proved what either of them or 212 Motorsports were hoping from the Renault-based team. But hopefully, you know, we can see a bit of an upturn in performance over the course of the year, because McLaren, they should be fighting at the front at the end of the day in Formula 1. Next up then is Alpha Tauri, obviously Red Bull's second team, and once again another team actually that has opted to keep their driver lineup from 2020. Unfortunately, P8 never quite did justice for Alpha Tauri at the end of Season 1. They looked absolutely formidable in the final few races of 2020. And like we said, Red Bull have got some big upgrades from Honda, and Alpha Tauri have received those same upgrades there. So they're looking like they've got one of the best engines now in Formula 1 as we head into the new season there. And I'm sure they'll be looking to potentially now really be able to bring the fight to teams like Renault and McLaren there, and obviously two of the smaller teams like 212 Motorsports and obviously Racing Point as well. Alpha Tauri, I definitely feel are a team that everyone is going to have to watch out for over the course of the new season. They're looking very, very quick. Danny Kvyat and Pierre Gasly are always both two drivers that are looking to try and prove their worth as well. Obviously, with Daniel Ricciardo getting the offer back at Red Bull, I'm sure both those drivers are a little bit disgruntled, but still will want to try and prove their worth if they are looking to try and get to the top once again in Formula 1 and obviously being able to fight for race victories and potentially world championships down the line. They probably need the Red Bull outfit underneath them, but they are always willing to give it their best shot, and fighting as underdogs is what they do best. Moving on, though, to Alfa Romeo then, and actually our first team with a brand new fresh face to the world of Formula 1, and actually quite a surprising driver lineup for 2021. After a one-year stint with Ferrari, Charles Leclerc has actually rejoined the Swiss-based outfit, ready for the new season there. They're really not happy with the way 2020 went in the end, and yeah, was very, very disappointed with the lack of Ferrari reliability, that he just wasn't able to fight for the World Championship when really he probably deserved to have won it at the end of 2020. And he's joined by Matt212 YT. Yes, obviously a Formula 2 start from 2019 and 2020, and after a very, very strong 2020 campaign, Alfa Romeo decided to move the Japanese driver up into a Formula 1 seat. That meant that there was no more space for Antonio Giovinazzi, who I can now confirm has actually been sacked and has left Formula 1 to continue on a career in more GT racing with Ferrari there. So Matt212 YT in, Charles Leclerc in, a completely fresh lineup for the Alfa Romeo team, the only team in Formula 1 that has got two new drivers, well, debatably new drivers, depending on what you call Charles Leclerc in this storyline. But yeah, Charles Leclerc, Matt212 YT in for Alfa Romeo for 2021. They'll be looking to try and challenge towards the rest of the midfield once again after a lackluster and very, very quiet 2020. But two young guns, they are looking confident. Then we move on, though, to HAAS Formula 1 team. Obviously, after a very, very quiet 2020 campaign, they've got actually a very, very quietly quick lineup in the car. Kevin Magnussen remains with the team for yet another year, and he is joined by Formula 2 star from 2019, obviously Formula 2 champion even, I should say, from 2019, Nick de Vries. Yes, he's finally got the call up to Formula 1, obviously, after taking a year out after winning the 2019 F2 season. He is really, really trying to prove his point in 2021. HAAS, though, struggled throughout the 2020 season and are hoping that they can really challenge sort of the Alpha Tauri's, the Alfa Romeos, and finish better than 10th in 2021. But the Ferrari upgrades, again, not looking too brilliant on the car. They have admitted in the past to struggling to be able to find the right data that they need to get a little bit more performance out of their outfit. But, you know, with Nick de Vries at the wheel as well as Kevin Magnussen, they've got two very, very quick drivers, two very, very aggressive drivers as well. I'm sure there'll be some fireworks and definitely a team to watch out for throughout the entirety of the 2020 season. And then we move on, though, to our final team ready for 2021. Williams are back once again, and after a torrid 2020, after losing their star driver of George Russell, they actually did a straight swap with 212 Motorsports. Obviously, they got quite a hefty payout for bringing the other Englishman of Jordan King to the team. Obviously, he was able to be bought out for a lot less than George Russell there. But yeah, Williams now with Latifi and Jordan King, two still fairly unproven talents, and after 2020 not able to score any points, I'll be honest, 2021 isn't looking too great for the UK-based team. They struggled in pre-season testing, weren't able to put many competitive times on the board, and it looks like unless they see a real resurgence of form with some aero and chassis upgrades, that it is going to be another tough and testing year for Williams here. But hopefully they can try and score a point. Obviously, Jordan King had scored 2 points with 212 Motorsports in 2020. Nicholas Latifi yet to get his first Formula 1 point as well. So I'm sure, yeah, both their drivers are going to be taking every opportunity they possibly can get. But there we are then, guys. That is the rundown for the 2021 season. A few swaps, I think 7 teams, if I remember correctly, have swapped their driver lineups. 2 new Formula 2 stars as well. There is plenty of exciting action that is going to be kicking off later on today, where we remain in Albert Park, Melbourne, ready for the Australian Grand Prix. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.